The American people have watched, have seen, and they know what is happening, which explains why Donald Trump's polling numbers are cratering.
President Trump says his administration is reviewing everything after the fatal shooting by immigration agents of 37-year-old nurse Alex Pretti in Minneapolis at the weekend. Protests there and in other US cities have continued as the facts around the incident are being contested. Homeland Security said Pretti was shot because he was brandishing a gun. Local authorities deny this, adding that the gun was legally registered and that the nurse was shot after the firearm was removed. It's the second fatal shooting by ICE agents of a US citizen in recent weeks. So how are Americans feeling right now? Stephen Schmidt, co-founder of the Lincoln Project, an American political action committee founded by moderate conservatives and former Republican members who opposed Donald Trump, joins us now. Welcome to Times at 1, Stephen Schmidt. Trump hasn't yet directly stood by the ICE agents. He was asked twice whether the agent had done the right thing during the shooting and said they were reviewing it. Do you think Trump senses the tensions in the country around this?
I'm not a psychiatrist, so I'm not in a position to tell you what he senses or he does not. I am in a position to tell you that your entire framing of this story, much like the American media's, is wrong. The video is perfectly clear. There is no contestation about what happened. Mr. Pretti was armed, as was his right. He had a lawfully registered firearm. He is permitted to carry it under the Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. He was there filming the abuses of ICE, which he has a right to do constitutionally under the First Amendment. He was assaulted and he was shot 10 times in the back. He did not draw his weapon. His weapon was removed from him. There are 7 different camera angles. As his body was lying on a cold slab in the morgue, he was defamed and he was smeared by the government of the United States, by the fascist Stephen Miller, by the fascist Pam Bondi, by the fascist Kristi Noem, and by the fascist killer Greg Bovino. And they all said he was a domestic terrorist. What he was an intensive care unit nurse held in high regard, who's never had a single run-in with the law, who worked with America's veterans. By the way, it should be noted, on the weekend of the assassination of Mr. Pretti, Donald Trump also assassinated the memories of 758 British soldiers killed in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Yes, and that was received unbelievably badly, insulting the memory of those soldiers, for which he has attempted to row back. When you talk about the framing, and I totally take your point, is this then a watershed moment? Is this the moment when people who may have, up until now, either believed or were prepared to turn a blind eye to what's been happening on the streets with ICE agents? Is that changing now? Is that going to sort of move dramatically?
The individuals or groups who are most apt to turn the blind eye are America's journalists, America's corrupt media. The American people have watched, have seen, and they know what is happening, which explains why Donald Trump's polling numbers are cratering. He stands in the low 30s. His coalition has fallen apart. But as he grows less popular, he also grows more powerful. And what we are seeing is Orwellian level lying. The first commandment of the party is to not believe your eyes. There has never been a comparable incident when in the United States you have seen something, it has been recorded, and there is an industry of people who go out and tell you it is not so, it is not true.
Yep.
Just like the Saddam Hussein spokesperson, famously known as Baghdad Bob, once said the American tanks behind him at the airport in Baghdad were not there.
Yes,
It
I
is
remember
that
it.
level of lying that
I
is happening in the United States, and it is unprecedented.
Well, I remember that incident well when you refer back to history there in the Iraq War. Could Trump, though, lose support? You talk about cratering support. Could he lose more support from even his own MAGA base over this?
There are many, many Trump supporters on the streets in Minneapolis. I'm a member of a group called the Save America movement. We have journalists on the ground there, and there are many people who say they voted for Donald Trump but are off of the crazy train. You see a tremendous reaction inside the Democratic Party, which now has indicated it will not permit further funding of ICE, that there will be demands that these thugs be unmasked. By the way, there is no clandestine protections afforded these people like there might be a member of Delta Force or SEAL Team 6 or the CIA.
Yeah.
They are not clandestine operators. This is an immigration agent, lawless, out of control, heavily armed, and thus 72 hours after the murder, the American people still do not know the name of the federal agent who killed Alex Pretti, who murdered him in cold blood.
Right. And will Donald Trump, in your mind, stop at... I mean, how far would he go in terms of methods to supposedly achieve his aims, in this instance, immigration?
Donald Trump lost an election, and Donald Trump incited a coup. There are thousands of armed seditionists who attacked the Capitol of the United States, and that event is denied as if it never happened. How far will Trump go? How far will Jeffrey Epstein's best friend go? A man who has lied 40,000 times, a man who has declared over and over again that he's absolutely powerful, that he is unconstrained by the Constitution, by American law. Nobody knows the answer to that question. The answer to that question comes from appreciating what Donald Trump is. What he is a fascist. And the man who interrogated another fascist, Adolf Eichmann, for 275 hours, after being asked about the experience, his takeaway was, it gave me my faith in democracy because there's little Eichmanns everywhere.
All right.
In a dictatorship of the left or the right, they turn deadly in an instant. And we are watching Trump and his ICE henchmen turn deadly in the United States. That's what we're watching.